Okay. So, Brendan, sorry, I'm turning around here. Well, it's been great meeting you with this, Lisa, I have to say. It's been one of my best experiences, so thank you.
Thank you.
I really liked the questions that you just asked of Dan Klein. Do you want to say what the question was and tell me a little bit more about the topic?
Well, the topic was security, and security arises from complexity. I mean, security issues arise from complexity. And
Clearly.
there's an old truism in the industry that there's no problem that can't be solved by adding another layer of abstraction. There's another old truism in the industry that says every program contains at least one bug and at least one extraneous instruction. So bugs often are the source of security problems, and when you add all of this complexity with layer and layer and layer of abstraction upon abstraction upon abstraction, what you end up with is a situation where you have emergent behaviors in the way that the layers interact, and also where a bug in a lower layer of abstraction can cause a massive security hole that is completely invisible to anyone reviewing the code at the top level of the abstraction tree. So Dan has a philosophy that says we should raise it and start from the beginning, and I don't completely agree with that. I think what we really need to do is understand our own reluctance to go back over old ground, rather than trying to solve old problems in new ways. What we really should be doing is refactoring, and refactoring is about re-examining your code and your assumptions at a very low level to try to make it cleaner, more modular, and more maintainable so that you can identify what those bugs are and hopefully remove more of them. I think the other issue which arises from a sysadmin perspective is the trade-off between software complexity and operational complexity. And if you're a software engineer, then it's often easier to add another layer of abstraction or add an additional technology than figure out how to work more efficiently with the technologies that are hidden from you by the software that you're using. One example of this would be if you are implementing a message queue. If there's a message queue already in your system that you access entirely through libraries, but those libraries don't make full use of that message queue, don't allow you to write new queues, don't allow you to change topic names because it's very special purpose for one piece of your system, then the temptation is always very high for a developer to use a different technology with another library set that they know, rather than digging down into the lower levels, which are often perceived as more difficult. And I'm not quite sure how we get around this problem, except by teaching ourselves as an industry that our job is not to do the easy thing, our job is to do the right thing. And sometimes that means more work now for less work later, and especially when you're talking about the trade-offs between operational complexity and software complexity, there is always a point at which the effort required to do it in software offsets the cost of the additional operational complexity. But that point is generally much farther out than people realize. So if a system is in place for, say, 3 years, and you have 5 technologies, you have 5 technologies that you have to manage for 3 years, and that will generally offset the amount of time taken, the cost of having 2 or 3 developers spend another 3 or 4 weeks, because over the course of that 3 years you have system administrators spending a lot more than 2 or 3 weeks trying to maintain and update and keep up with the system. But those costs are often invisible to businesses, and I'm not quite sure how we get around that.
Well, I actually believe probably nobody's exactly sure how we get around it, but it's a great topic to raise. Tell me, for the record, we're going to only do about another minute here. Did you have a good time at Lisa?
I did indeed. It was a very useful conference, and I'm hoping to be back again next year.
Did you learn anything really useful?
I did.
And you made good networking contacts?
I did indeed.
Awesome. Well, like I said, it was great meeting you. Thank you for the interview.
And thank you.